So, hey, John here, Sunday, the 26th, 2025, October. This is part two, Pottstown Police. How I knew that the mini bike guy was involved in this is as soon as the bikers left, not long after the mini bike guy came around the back, from around the back of the Pollock building and came down High Street real slow. And I'm blaming Hughes for this because I turned him in months ago to use, or whenever I talked to Officer Saba, and she assured me she was investigating and taking care of this. Well, this guy's been out here every night of the week, 7, 8, 9, 10 times up and down High Street, muling meth up and down or other drugs. God knows what else he's muling. And his main stop is behind the Pollock building. Told her this, told her, basically his route. He hangs at Franklin Street on the corner. He's the one that stopped me on the corner by the crosswalks, and then got off the bike and said, "Oh, there's too many cops around." Like he was talking to himself, but I overheard what he said. He said it under his breath, but I heard what he said, and I'm, like, what are you worried about the cops for? That's what I asked him, and engaged him in conversation about his bike. And again, it's a pull start mini bike. It has balloon tires on it with big knobs on the rubber, around it so he can go off road. He told me it does about 62 miles an hour, top speed. And, through engaging him in conversation, but I kept my distance. I kept about 10 to 15 feet away from him at all times. And, or at least tried to. He pulled, he did walk the bike up onto the sidewalk when the cops were around. So, but anyway, yeah, he's the one. He's an older guy. I would put him between, I don't know, 25. No, he's older than that. He's probably 30, 32, 35. If I had to guess. He looks rough. That's why I'm saying. So I was giving him a benefit of the doubt there in age. But again, Officer Saba, if you're listening to these, like you said you were going to, they had at least 13 bikers out here, and they were talking to somebody at the Pollock building I could not see. I'm blind. So these guys can roll right up on me, and I'd never see them until they're standing in front of me. They were discussing something about getting the guy out of here, and the bikers said, "Yeah, we'll get him out of there. We'll get him out of there. Don't worry about it." And then he said something about the rivet, like, where does he sit down by the rivet? And I do. That's one of my stopping points when I rest because of my knees and my back. I have a pinched sciatic nerve. I have 2 crushed lower vertebrae. I have diabetic neuropathy, which affects my knees severely. They had me on metformin back then, and it started right after I took myself off metformin because I could barely walk with that stuff. And my knees have gotten better, but not 100%. And also with the weight gain and stuff like that, I gained at least 65 pounds. So anyway, they asked where I sit, and then he said, "Does he have tattoos?" Something like that. They mentioned the rivet. So I'm just wondering if they're trying to set me up, and they're going to stop and like harass or threaten me if I don't move out of here. They're going to do something to me or something like that. But this, like I said, I can't believe the investigation's ongoing this long, and you're letting this guy drug mule drugs all over Pottstown, and you haven't stopped him once. That's ridiculous. Either he's working for you and somebody's getting paid off by his drug sales, or you're letting him. You're doing something with this guy. He's either a snitch, something. But somebody's trying to set me up over at the Pollock building. They want me out of this building very, very. In very vast ways, and various people, the drug dealers down front, because I told Saba about them, and I was keeping in touch with her with videos and other things about what's going on in the neighborhood, and Sandy Gill, of course, because she knows Scott Ohm, the meth cook, real well. She's one of them. I don't know who else would be in the Pollock building. The redhead that just accosted me at Clusters the other day, thinking I didn't know who she was. I know she was dating a black man, but she came in there and was just saying all kinds of off the wall stuff, and that's caught on my police vest cam, all that conversation, because she was acting like a nitwit, and so I caught that on vest cam. And then she disappeared. I don't know where she went, out the back door at Clusters, but she went in the back to get her food and never returned. So I don't know what was going on with her. But But again, I caught our conversation on my vest cam, my police vest cam. And it could be her and her boyfriend because he's one of the ones that, don't like me in this building because he can't sit out front and hustle. So it could be any one of them meeting them behind the Pollock building, the bikers, and trying to elicit my, eviction, if you will. I don't know what word to put it, but they're trying to get me out of here because I am like filming it. They can't prostitute, they can't run their drugs if I'm sitting here telling on them all the time. They can't sit on the sidewalk, can't sit out front on the stoop. I'm making it too hot for them. So, but again, I was assured again by Officer Saba that they were investigating. Well, investigation usually leads to a bust, and this guy has been allowed to drug mule drugs all up and down High Street on his dirt bike. I'm wondering why he's not in handcuffs right now. That's kind of odd. So I don't know who's eliciting the hit on me or whatever you want to call it, but they all pulled up across the street facing my windows, talking as loud as they possibly could about me, and then hustled back down toward the rivet or toward the police station. And they were all wearing cuts with rocker panels on them, upper and lower rocker panels. So they are some kind of clique, motorcycle club or gang. I don't know if it's the breed, like I said, or the only ones I can think of are the Wheels of Soul, which my mom married the chapter leader of the Wheels of Soul back in 1960s, I think. Well, she didn't marry him. She had 2 kids by him. And, I don't know. I don't know if it was the Wheels or it was the breed. So, but it was one of the motorcycle gangs here in Pottstown or, around the surrounding areas. So, okay. I'm just letting you know that if anything happens, it's Pottstown Police's fault because, again, I've informed them over and over and over. She finally said, just call 911, and they came here and directly threw me under the bus. So I will not be calling 911 anymore unless my life depends on it because they're idiots, the 2 Barney Fifes that showed up. So, again, I'm blaming the whole Pottstown Police force if something happens because they're not doing their jobs right. If they were investigating this, mini bike guy wouldn't have a chance to set somebody else up. So there you go. That's it.